Welcome to this evening's program. This will not be a normal chapel service as we usually have at this particular period of the week, but I would like to start a series. It will be more integrated instruction on the topic of spiritual, physical health and the dynamics that we have that we have learned in our organization. So therefore, we're coming really as a community center for holistic healing. The chapel is one of our arms of our center. And because of that, it's sort of a brand new experience. I hope you will enjoy it and would appreciate your feedback when you can. I think we're going to go from there because I've included some of our material from about the organization in the talk. So I am going to share something shared with me by James Masbrook. I have lost the screen for
It's
talking.
still here.
No, I can see you all too, but I've lost the button to go over to the presentation screen. I have no way of knowing what is on. There it is.
Oh.
I found this lovely picture of Jesus,
Mhm.
or supposedly depicting him. James shared a download that he got from Master Jesus very recently, and it's called, and I'm not going to share the whole thing because I don't think that would be that necessary to read everything out. I'm sure Paula would enjoy sending a copy out, or we'll talk to her about that if
Oh,
you're
sure.
later.
Mhm.
But I will read from the script. Starting at the 12th dimension, we need to reprogram all our levels of consciousness, all the way down to the third dimension to rule our lives. Consider this download to be an overwrite of the present codes in your consciousness and then your embodiment, as well as the master blueprint that concerns the world at large. Your intention must be to download the ascension plan for you and the planet. When you call these energies forth, they will bring you the master plan that is descending upon the planet to realign the planet and make the most perfect world. Now, we've talked about that a lot in our past, and this is a wonderful inclusion here. And he goes to say, it is incumbent upon all of you to download your ascension plan for yourself. And this is why this fits into the talk tonight. This way, the planet Earth will help you to see the plan in your mind, feel it in your heart, and hear it in your head, the divine light. You will have clearer thoughts, clearer feelings, great awareness, and a greater connection to the great creator. Please take all of this seriously and not just as another motivational talk. In order for you to see the change in your life, you have to do something to cause that change, and you have to be persistent in it. That's one of our themes that we have here. Keep going. He says, see this as a maintenance on yourself, a thing with enlightenment, where you will feel happy to be a part of the bigger plan. Feel the ecstasy, the happiness, and the joy of performing your purposes in life. And I thought that gave the gist of the talk that we are having here, and it was a wonderful connection with my thought of doing this series, because there is a new world in the making. The separation from the old is now occurring. These are those who do not want to move on, are making life miserable for themselves and everybody around them. So in order to have a restoration of the world to peace and cooperation, the old destructive behavior and policies must go. And this has been a long time coming. And we talk about Atlantis and the problems that started there. For the most part, the karmic patterns that were generated there in Atlantis because of what happened there. And that's on our website. It's in many talks that we gave. So this is we're coming out of all of that from many thousands of years ago. So this is a critical point in the evolution of everyone on the planet and the planet itself. Now, in 1958, there was a world time clock was set from the higher dimensions for humanity. So to begin to clean up its act, so to speak. And this is the cycle that Michelle brought in. There were seven-year cycles which followed the chakra system of the human. The earth also has a chakra system. Events took place that were unique to the cycle that was manifesting by divine design. We were to accomplish each in the time frame. 48 years ago, when CCWH was incorporated in DC, we were in the solar plexus cycle of that clock, the one that is manifestation and creativity. Our purpose was to help humanity to transform to new, higher dimensions of consciousness. I've lost the screen again. I'm not sure we're recording the screen if I lose it. I don't know why I've lost it. Thank you. Our purpose continues to be helping humanity to transform and to that dimension of the Christ consciousness as an individuals within the group, as individuals around us in the world, and eventually, because of the transformation that we create in our families and communities, the world is able to pick that up because the work must go on. The Christ consciousness is one of love and forgiveness, and there are yet too many who are still in their negativity. Looking at the news, there are so many emotionally reactive people, which is further adding to the chaos and confusion. So it cannot be emphasized enough that holding a calm and centered demeanor will allow the positive light energies to put everything in its proper place and perspective. This is going back to what Jesus said. So one who wants to ascend to a higher, finer way of life will be given huge boost upward when you're holding the calm, thoughtful, and peaceful position. Since like attracts like, we will find that our life will have a more pleasant appearance. So we are here on the planet to finally balance our soul and body, our thinking and feeling. In other words, our head and heart aligned in a higher, finer view that comes from a higher perspective of us. In effect, we are creating balance between East and West philosophy and thinking. These combined in a higher resonance all over the world eventually, once we can achieve it here. A critical factor of being in the United States and being citizens here in a free place who are capable of pursuing this is very important in the world, because we will then create for them the model from which they can go. The ancient world of the Hindu and Buddhist religions always had wisdom which aligned them well with the cosmic understanding of the world and our place in the entire structure. In the hidden years of Jesus, it is generally understood that he studied in the East before he began his life work. However, there was a degree of sharing done between the people, even then, before he was even doing that. They were sharing between themselves, and there was a lot of movement across the different continents between the East and the Mideast. Trading was very active, and when you're trading, you're also sharing other information as well, and that's how things would be evolving, and that kind of information would be known to many people at the time. But the studies were always done, from my understanding, on site in both in the higher Himalayas and the different places in India. So the Western world was developing mainly in Greece and Rome and then all over the general Europe, was really developing more from the science end of things, more from you could say that in our generic look at how the brain works, the East was always the right brain and the West was always, considered the left brain. So it's wasn't developing in the understanding the way the East had it. So this is why the East-West blending is so important now. And isn't it wonderful that we are here today to help to create that, because we have this esoteric understanding that now is beginning to merge with science in very interesting ways, because so many people are interested in this particular field. Mystery schools were located all over the world in ancient days, and they held much of the same information that was held in the East. And that mystery schools were all over the world. They were very highly, there was a cone of energy that was developed from spirit to bless that site and to make sure that that information was held there in a way that would not be diluted by anybody's outside of this group, so that there would be any contamination of that. So many of people today in our organization and people that we meet now in the world, in their reincarnational journeys, participated in these schools. And that's why there's so much interest. They want to wake up again to that. Now we are here at this time, all of us, to complete our life's purpose and meaning. We have a divine plan for our ascension out of this lower reality. And Jesus, as he said, you can't do anything but go and do the work. Expect the results to happen, because it's so important in our soul's evolution and the upcoming times that we have been told about by many different places, that there is now, if you don't reach that other higher dimensions and you're stuck on the third, there is going to be a division somehow in the world, where those who are seeking to go higher will go, and those who are not ready yet will not do that same ascension. So there will be that time coming up, and it's going to be, and I guess we always think of something like big like that happening some other time, some other place, but it's going to happen in our lifetime. Now, we don't know when that is, and I don't think that many levels of spirit are allowed to even know that. But this is quite a well-kept secret in higher planes when this will all happen. But they will know when they get, what I was told, they said when they get the countdown, they said they will initiate it, and it's going to proceed without any stopping. So they want us all to be aware of this. They all want us all to elevate ourselves so that that higher energy can be ours, that we live with it, that we are vibratory pattern, that our energies are so high that we can just sail on with it. Now, it's very bothersome at this point to see people who are still so negative out in the world, and you don't know what's really affecting them from that. But I know from myself, I would like at least to offer a hand to everybody that we can possibly do that, so to give them the information. They may not have it yet. And there are still people who are whose soul had designed them to awaken in this lifetime who have yet to do that. There are still enough people that we should be working very hard to make sure that our light is high, that our understanding is high on this, and that we hold that. We must hold that pattern. Now, in my old Catholic teaching from grade school, which went from 1941 to 1948, we were taught very clearly that we were never to tell lies about another person. And I am so disappointed in the lack of love that is displayed in the media. Love is the active energy on which anything good is built. It was, if we try to treat each other with some degree of kindness, more enlightened, I guess, understanding of their possible position, of what we might be able to offer them, that does not include all of this verbiage that goes on now, much more could be accomplished, and much more quickly it would happen that we could turn things over. Because the active sign of love is forgiveness. If we can forgive, that's a huge step. We go before the throne of God. Now, this is a download I got yesterday morning, not this morning, but yesterday. There was a spirit that came in. I don't know his. I knew he was introduced himself by name, and by the time we got finished with the dialogue, I forgot what his, because I hadn't heard his name before. He said to go before the throne of God within yourself and ask for forgiveness, because this is the stumbling point for most people. They haven't quite done it all the way through, who are actually awakening. Ask that the Spirit of Christ descend into your entire being, and then with sincere heart and deep commitment, go out and become the being of light that you actually are. Be a joy before Christ and a blessing to all who come in your life. And he said, it is that easy. Daily connect to the great light coming in from the great Creator God. Now, this was taught to us if we paid attention all the way. I think we all did, but we didn't quite, couldn't integrate it as well. This was taught to us even in the Old Testament. The story of Lot and his wife escaping from Sodom and Gomorrah. He was told to leave, take his household with him, and don't look back. He was on his way out, and his wife turned around, looked at the destruction and the evil and everything and she turned into a pillar of salt because she did. Now, this was an allegory of what we were just talking about. You're told to leave the old emotional field of destructive and all the things that we have pulled us down, each one of us down, and humanity at large down. We're told to let it go. We have to journey away from it. But as Lot said, once your emotions start pulling on you and you turn around and you're looking at the negativity again, you have to let it go then. So his wife was representing, as a female, the emotional part of Lot, not his actual wife. She was representing that. So when he turned back and kept going, he made his mark, he made his destiny, because he did not look back again. Now, she was this figure, or this pillar of salt was left as a reminder for humanity and this story that it will not serve you to go back and into a negative or into the old world or into old destructive things that didn't work for us, and it never would, because they were not of Christ. So that was the allegory that was in the old Bible. And so ever since then, we've been encouraged to do the same thing in some way, shape, or form or another. So I want to do in the series a talk, as I've just done, but I want to end and incorporate the solutions that you can bring up, and assuming that there will be people who see this down the road and may want to start somewhere and they don't know where to start. I'm going to say that you always begin with prayer, meditation, and affirmations, and an intention to help raise your sights so that you know where you're going. So a simple daily prayer in the morning and the evening. Morning greeting God, saying, I dedicate this day to you, and I would need help from you to accomplish everything in a better manner than what I've been doing. And the end of the day, say a prayer of thanks, of thanksgiving. Sometime do something that the old priests used to say, at least in the Catholic Church, they did contemplation. Well, they're contemplating something. You can pull in a word or something. You don't even have to do that. You have to want to sit and think about God. Just muse yourself, and meditation then would come in the form of active listening. You must actively listen, anticipate something is going to be given to you. It doesn't have to be a sound. It could be a flash of light. It could be a thought, a new thought. You don't know where it's coming from. You have to be prepared like the soldiers do in battle. You have to be on high alert. This is meditation, silently sitting there in high alert, waiting for God. If you're doing anything else, you're not meditating, because prayer and all the activity coming from us is prayer. It's supplication. Meditation is active listening, active expectation. Now, that place that you go to in active can be very quick, because when you're in that intense kind of thing, really inside of yourself, you have to start off in small pieces, and you can enlarge that every day, and it becomes a longer period of time where you can actually sit like that. But sometimes you can't do more than 30 seconds. When you start off, it can be a very challenge, but challenging your discipline of mind is very important, because when you go into meditation and you're waiting on God, this is the pathway through which your intuition, which your gifts of the Spirit will come to you. You will be sitting in the heart of your own being, greeting your own Creator. And we'll do more on that. We have information on our website about all of these things. You might go to our website for that. But there is a component of this that's very important, and it is when you are joining soul and body, you must consider that you have to do an exercise in that end of things. For the soul, we were just talking about that. But you also have to incorporate different techniques that will help the body to start the same alignment. And that comes in through natural supports. The nature is very. And I have somebody with us this evening, Paula Mashbrook, who is an excellent representative of this field. She has much information, but she's only going to share a snippet with us, because I said, what would help the beginning person to be centered, to be grounded, and to lift? What would you use while you're before, during, or after meditation and prayer? So I'm going to turn this over to Paula. She'll tell you a little bit more about herself as well. Oh, are you on mute, Paula?
There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So where to start? Um, I have a doctorate in esoteric studies, and I have always had a tremendous interest in energy and energetic healing. And I started with Reiki and polarity therapy and massage. And here I am, still learning. Just learned Lomi Lomi, which is a very exciting massage method and extremely spiritual and healing. I'm very excited about that. But Mary wanted me to speak tonight about the importance of oils and or essential oils. The essential oils are, as you know, they are the immune system of the plant. And but many people don't think about how our own bodies are physically one third physical, one third mineral, and one third plant. So when were created, God gave us these plants and everything around us, everything that we need for healing. And they are also quite spiritual. The plant itself has it as a living thing, even though it's turned into an essential oil. The essence of that spirit is still with the plant, and the plant still connects with its place it was brought from on earth. So it's the essential oils are a wonderful thing to use when you pray. You can pray for, things around the world, for peace with your essential oils, and they go out. They're carried by the spirit world, the elementals and the fairies and all the things they're connected with. So the beauty of the essential oils is how they connect with us and they are very healing, but in one way, to talk about the grounding and upliftment that they give you, there are one example is frankincense, which was given to Jesus. Frankincense and myrrh, all of the wood uh, oils and the root, excuse me, the root system is very grounding. And also, they're very uplifting because they're calming and they help you connect with the earth and with your surroundings. And when you're calm, you're able to cope better and just deal with life better. So, and they also help to clear you if you feel like you're, around some negativity. It's wonderful to put on some frankincense or some lavender, any of the essential oils, because they're all uplifting and clearing, and they just have a light of their own. So tonight, I don't know how far to go with this. I can talk about oils forever. Um, but the ones that I would recommend for grounding and also for uplifting are frankincense and lavender. Cedar wood is another very spiritual and very grounding oil. Um, let's see. Vetiver is another good one too, because all of these are connected with the earth, the root system and the plant. Vetiver is wonderful for people who have ADD or ADHD because it's so grounding and so calming. It helps you just connect. So they're a wonderful aid to us and spiritually as well, physically and spiritually. So I don't know. Do you have any questions or um, anything you would like to ask me more about these?
Well, I think with using them with the meditation or
Hmm.
affirmations, and um, prior to doing that kind of work, I think, is that the time frame that you would like to recommend?
Yes, yes, for anything. Um, in the morning, I put them on just because they help me get going. They help me to energize. I'll put some citrus oils on because citrus will uplift you. It'll change your mood. It smells good. It's refreshing. And I use them throughout the day, but I use them too for meditation. And you can actually blend them together. I have a blend that I called Manifest It, which is 22, I believe, oils that are all highly, highly spiritual oils. And I use that. It smells wonderful. And I also diffuse because all of the essential oils also, they're antiviral and antibacterial, all of them. So I diffuse them in my home during the day. Just gives you a lift, makes your house clean and fresh. Um, so yeah, they're uh, help you in just about every way you can think.
Well, I remember
So we,
Dr. Johns Hopkins had the favorite citrus. His were his favorite that
mhm,
he channeled through. And
right.
I find that putting that in a vaporizer is very pleasant in the house.
It is. It is. And you can also use them, the citrus also, you rub them on your body, your hands, and they will help actually take some of the plastics out of your body. We found. So they help you in so many ways. I've been using them for about 14 years now, and we have them in every room of our house. And my husband has his, and we don't go any place. We travel with them, and they've just become a part of our life because they just help. They fit in with every aspect of your life. And remember too that your body is part plant. So it feeds your body. It just absorbs into your body when you put them. You could put them on pressure points like on your wrist, on the back of your neck, on your feet, and they absorb quickly into your body, and they do all kinds of things. So, and they're just the best part is that they make you happy and they make you feel better and they empower you. You feel like you're taking some control over your day, really. So,
Oh,
I especially like the grounding ones you were
hmm
mentioning, the frankincense.
hmm
So I have a couple of questions. One is, um, I think I bought a massage oil pack of different essential oils, and I was putting I was putting the drops together and then rubbing them into my feet at night. And then I was warned that too much of a good thing isn't necessarily a good thing. So I was
oh,
not using a carrier oil. I was
oh,
using the oil directly.
uh-huh.
But what would be your recommendation on dosages? So when we get up in the morning and we put it on our pressure points, rub it in our hands, breathe it in, those kinds of things. How many drops are you talking? And are you talking about using a carrier oil?
It's good to use carrier oils with the oils, especially if you're new to using the oils. Everyone's body is different. So the carrier oil does dilute them a bit. So some of them can be very strong and some of them are hot, like oregano and clove. They're very hot oils. So you would want to dilute them And, especially if your skin is a little bit tender. But diffusing too is a very safe way to do it. And they say that one drop is all you need, but I don't know. I've gotten so used to them. I just have a cold water diffuser, and it also humidifies the room. And I love diffusing because it makes your house smell good. And I just kind of give it several shakes of the oil, and I don't worry about counting too much anymore. But when you're new to it, it is good to proceed cautiously and see how you do with it. So,
And I've heard people have different preferences for types of oils. Is there a particular brand that you can recommend?
oh, well, it is important to get a good high quality oil. I myself use doTERRA.
Mhm.
I have a lot of confidence with them. I've been out to Utah, and I know Dr. Hill, and I've met a lot of the scientists, and I've been to many many trainings that they've given, and I'm very confident with their oils. I know they're not adulterated, and they're very pure, and they are also tested for heavy metals, which is something that's really big with me. I don't like to get any more exposure to heavy metals than I need to.
Thank you,
So,
Paula.
but there are many nice oils out there, and just research them. So I think if they're tested and they're organic and they're sourced from the place of origin where that plant really thrives, is important too. So,
Great. Thank you, Paula.
sure.
Well, we could do a much bigger program, and we had always thought we would on this particular topic. And so we might come back at this a bit later. We just want to think that we could get involved in just a handful of oils that we could count on all the time and use those, use them frequently. Think of them as being an adjunctive help to all of your need to raise your consciousness. Give them the extra energy that a higher creative consciousness that we are can infuse in them. And we all are healers here. So you want to energize them with whatever you have learned in healing to energize. And so that will even lift them higher, and it will give them a even connection with a much, much higher purpose. They are of a lower consciousness than we are because we come from a different level of spirit. We are created at a different level. The earth are created in their own dimensional things. So when we combine these things, we can help each other grow. The earth elementals are growing the same way we are growing spiritually. And we come together in a joint venture to help each other out. So it's wonderful to use it because it will remind you when you're applying the oil, you can do a wonderful positive affirmation with each point
Right.
that you're putting it at. I like to use frankincense on my scalp, right in the crown chakra. So when I begin meditation, I think it was your husband, Paula James, who taught me years ago that it crosses the brain barrier. It's one of the
Yes.
few oils that cross over into the brain. Very few
hmm
medicines cross over into the brain. You have to have a
True.
special way of creating them in order to get them in there. And was always a challenge to do that, to create problems in the brain because they couldn't get the medication through.
Right.
Interesting that in nature, they have created their own that is very highly energized from their own nature spirits
hmm
to perform so well. So yes, and the citrus and lavender and the lemon are
Yes.
fantastic. So
Mhm.
thank you for bringing all that to us and the
Certainly.
explanations that you've given. We will go on in the series in part 2. There's so much to talk about in presenting
Mhm.
something of this nature that I'm invite you back and invite other people to come and participate and see what we can go with this. And maybe we can help a few other people. If we can save a few souls in this lifetime, and just by some simple means like this, we will have met our goals, I think, from a higher perspective, if we can help another person to evolve. So thank you all for coming.
Right. Mhm.
Please go to our website for those who are going to tune in later, ccwh.com. We have a lot, we have growing information there. You can find lovely meditations, um, chapel services that might interest you. We have some podcasts, and we are beginning a playlist for our instructional field. The face of our site website has some very interesting information on it, and if you'd like to look at our the journey that we have been on, the spiritual journeys that our organization has been on, I think you will find that really interesting because it delves into the history of the formation of how people moved around in the earth. And at these
Mm.
very, very ancient times, this was all channeled information. So sharing that with you, you might be inspired by that too. And thank you all for coming, and
Mm.
stay tuned for part 2. It'll either be next week or the week after, depending on a number of factors. So we'll get it going regularly. God bless you
Okay.
all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Good night, everyone.
Night.